There's one saying for this, and it is that all things have come to an end, all the good things have come to an end. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome you to tonight's Grand Prix in the Principality of Monaco. We've just witnessed an absolute fest of boredom last day, and we have 15 drivers upon us who want to change a very snooze-fest race from yesterday's Monaco Grand Prix, despite the wholesome moment of Charles Leclerc finally winning his home race. My name is Simon26. As per usual, I'm here to introduce you to tonight's Grand Prix for Sim Racing Heat NSA Pro season number 4. It's the season finale, and we will be looking at the result from last time. It was the Grand Prix in Imola. We had a dry to wet and then full wet race. It was a close matchup with Nordic and Critical at some stage, both getting late penalties inside the race. We had Nordic, who also wasn't really participating in the qualifying, so he kind of went from a very sort of last to first. Andy finished in third, Moksha fourth. Then we had Kovatska, Nocibo, and Supermax. The rest retired, unfortunately. Also Rotem on his return for Aston Martin couldn't finish the race. Wellison got himself disqualified on purpose to not disturb anyone inside the race, and unfortunately got taken out on lap 1 and had barely any running on that day. We also had a huge crash from Nico, who was looking like a good shot for qualifying pole position, but couldn't make the checkered flag at the end. This has resulted in the standings to look like this. There is literally no real fight in the championship left. It's all about prestige. Who can win this final race of the season? Who can go out with a bang? Maybe there's another Moksha podium. Maybe we see with someone else on the podium, because I've been getting a look on the drivers' lineup for tonight, and I can tell you there are some interesting names in the league racing community that have joined us for tonight. For the Constructors' Championship, we have some fights still left. It's for P6 with Alpine, Alfa Romeo, and Haas. They have to battle with each other. Aston Martin is totally out of contention. If AlphaTauri has, for some reason, a very good race, they might jump some places as well. Mercedes and Red Bull, as you can see, for P2 and 3 are closely matched, but there's one problem. Nordic isn't here tonight, and although there's a replacement, Andy seems like the guy who's in a good running for tonight to secure his team's second place. And we discussed at length that Ferrari has run away with it, and they cannot be catched at this stage. Let's look at the track map. You should be familiar with that. It is the layout that barely has changed since opening in 1929, 21 years before the first official Formula One World Championship Grand Prix was hosted there. We have a very interesting sequence of corners. It's the slowest corner on the race calendar on there as well, and we have a short lap time. On top of that, it's the shortest circuit as well. We have turn 1, Saint-Devote up the hill into Casino Square, Mirabeau at the end of the first sector, and there's the Grand Hotel Hairpin into Portier, second Portier. Then we have the tunnel, obviously, Nouvelle Chicane, then it's Tabac for turn 12, and that is also the end of the second sector. And the last fast section is Swimming Pool, also there in 15 and 16. Raskas Corner with a double apex right-hander and Anthony Noakes for the final turn that these drivers need to negotiate for tonight. And as for Singapore, As for Singapore, I am not alone. Fellison is with me again tonight. How are you doing?
Yeah, thank you. Hi guys, I've been doing good lately. Yeah, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad, but there's some tension for my only race for tomorrow. The championship is still in the line, but for now we focus on tonight's Grand Prix. We have currently 14 drivers in the running, and as we will soon discover, some interesting reserves for tonight. And my first question to you, my friend, is: are there any point scoring from the reserve for their teams? Because that would be interesting for some positions in the in the constructors' world championship.
I'm gonna have to check that, but I think there is a possibility to see um how many points they scored.
Yeah, because we have to then look out for Alpine, Alfa Romeo, and Haas to see if they change positions, and of course if Andy has a, let's say, miserable race, then Red Bull might be in a shot for a second place. As we load into the lobby for the qualifying, it's an 80-minute short qualifying session as per usual, and we await if there is any rain maybe upon us. It was very dry yesterday. It seems to be sunny. It is sunny in Monte Carlo, and we will looking at the grid for tonight. And oh boy, there are some names I didn't think I would announce for tonight, but here we are. As I already said, there's Andy again for Mercedes, as he has been for the whole season. Kismukus is, as per usual, in the Red Bull, but is tonight partnered by RPM Sinful. And they will be looking to see if points are on the table for them and maybe outscore Andy if, as I said, he has a poor race. Then there's a Ferrari of critical damage and Kovacs, obviously. They have been the best pairing for this season in terms of the Constructors' Championship. Obviously, it helps if you have the World Drivers' Champion in your roster. Then there is an Aston Martin as well with us. No, there isn't. Okay, then I skip to Alpine. That's no Sibo, who is just exiting the pit lane, and Nico is on a fresh set of mediums as well. These two have been partnered for some races now. Crank York, obviously, again in the Alpha Tauri, together with Supermax. Both of them are currently out on a outlap. And then we have Nay Danger David for Alfa Romeo tonight, who is partnered by T-Brand. So two reserves for Alfa Romeo. Siaktu is in for Haas as per usual. And the fellow German in the Williams is Moksha again for tonight. And Vincenzo has also joined the Haas team. So this is a 2-for-2 in terms of the... No, it's a 2 against 2 for all the three teams involved in the fight for P6 in the Constructors.
Yeah, so I just had a look, and if the reserve score points, it still counts.
Okay, that's going to be very interesting because
yeah.
Because we have three reserves. One team is completely powered by reserves for tonight, so that's going to be interesting. To remind you, Supermax has crashed, or is retired in the pit lane? Not so sure. 80 points for Haas, 69, nice, for Alfa Romeo, and there are 75 for Alpine. So that's gonna be their marks for tonight. Let's see if anyone is already on hotline. Nico has invalidated, so that's Moksha next, who's just exiting into the blinding light of the tunnel and has crossed the innovation chicane with no invalidation. Is about to finish the second part of this racetrack. It stops at a 54.0 as for sector times, and as there's no contact with the wall at the exit of the swimming pool. He continues to the last turn with a barely existing curb compared to the real life we just seen on this weekend, and Moksha's the first driver to set a banked time here, and there is Vincenzo next. No, he's just starting a lap. Then that's the Ferrari of Critical, who might obliterate this time. Yes, he does. It's the 9.9. And the next car to cross the lines was Krankjork. He is on the board with a 13.8. Next is Sibo. Yeah, there was Sibo in there as well. So David is now our new second, as Sibo is now being demoted to P5 because Kovacs car has gone into P3. And there is now another P3 move because Andy is now our new P3. And let's see if Nico is the next to cross the line. He hasn't invalidated it so far, so that is good to see. He's trying to get to grips with the track. Usually good shot with the mediums, although there's quite a significant different level of downforce and grip for these cars if you run two different tires, but that doesn't matter for him. P2.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to what to see what Moksha can do this week. He's been doing really good and progressing up the ladder really the last couple of races. So I'm always gonna keep an eye on him.
Yeah, my biggest interest is in David tonight, because I think in regards to pace, he might be that guy who is like in the fight for podium. Because
Monaco. Hopefully he can do something with Critical.
Yeah, that is true.
Otherwise it's gonna be another lonely race for him.
Yeah, that would be like Nico has the pace also, but he also stated that his consistency inside the Discord might be not the best to finish this race, and 39 laps is an endurance test, and you have to be pinpoint perfect almost, as he slides into the pit lane at the end of his run.
Different skill.
Yeah, there. I think David and Andy might be the guys who are fighting mostly, because David has been some sort of declining in terms of like overall practice and league racing, so he's pulled out.
I heard he's Mr. Monaco.
Yeah, that might be true.
This is what I heard.
But the consistency of playing this game is very important as well. So if you miss out, then just pull up for Monaco and it feels like your home yard. Then that's totally fine in my books for the hopefully very interesting race for us tonight. But in terms of like the race pairs as well, obviously qualifying makes a lot here. You need to make sure you don't crash your front wing or crash out even. And I think Critical might, with his performance, although both him and Andy didn't race that much, as we heard last week from them in the interviews, that they might be still the best might still have the best shot in terms of like closing out the 1-2 again in the race. So that is like my main focus for tonight, especially now in qualifying, as we see Siatu into the Casino Square down to Mirabeau, and he is currently on the hunt for his first flying lap as we have approached the last 10.5 minutes remaining. Predicted pole time for our guesses, Quincy is asking. I'd say 9.5, maybe 9.4. I don't know how much Critical has left in his tank, but I think half a second improvement, as Yaktu has invalidated his lap time. I think
almost half a
second is still in there, especially regarding his overall.
Oh yeah, definitely. But is it worth it to push it through your lap?
Yeah, that's
if nobody's really close to you. He might go out again and he might try again, but I don't think he's gonna go 120% unless he's forced to do it.
Yeah, we have to see and look if there's any signs from the other drivers.
I'm pretty sure he put a couple of hours in it last week, just into this one track. just to show everyone that he can still do it.
Yeah.
Critical seems to be on another level. He's really fast and very consistent as well.
Watching ads, so you're gonna need to repeat everything you just said. But that was before I even read the question, so I hope you heard that. Yeah, so my guess is it's a 0.5, like a mid 0.9 if he wants to go for it. Obviously, if he's fine with his gap, which is 8/10 at the moment, then he probably isn't going to. And Andy was an outlet but has invalidated, but Corvett's guy has just improved by 4/10 and is now into the 1 minute 12 O's, still 8/10 behind the next car, which is Andy in P4. And there was also, yeah, Vincenzo is on a lap right now. He's currently sitting in 8th, and Andy is ahead of him. And let's see, yeah, he doesn't invalidate as his fellow colleague for tonight did. Let's see if both Haas can get further into the race than 500 meters. And that seems to be an improvement. Is he gonna continue? No, he is aborting his lap, so there's no improvement. And T-Burn is still something away. Let's go with Andy on board up the hill. Bodo Raj. Left-hander coming into Casino Square. Very important to get the second apex there, right over the bump. Nico has just improved to the provisional pole by just over a second, as a 10th. He has improved by over a second himself, I mean. As Andy is now going into Portier. Runs a bit wide, but keeps it clean and tidy on the entry to the tunnel and is now blasting down into the downhill section and braking zone for the Nouvelle Chicane. Hits the apex quite nicely, misses both walls on entry and exit, now moves to Tabak. Let's see what his sector time is saying right now. He's up by 1.5 tenths. That is currently not fast enough for big improvement. He needs some more time to get David. And he's a bit cautious with the entry into Anthony Noakes. And let's see where the time stops. Only 0.05 of a second.
But not enough.
Critical zone hours lap. Let's go
Fast
with
lap.
T-Bran.
Oh, yeah.
He is currently on one of the 3 drivers that haven't set a lap time. And he is also approaching the Nouvelle Chicane. Exit start, no oversteer, no understeer. Tabak corner, beautifully managed. Fast through swimming pool 1 and 2 over the bump. Very important to not clip the... Oh! And he hits the wall. That was too deep for Raskas. He went past the first apex, but couldn't complete it. So his lap time... Yeah,
I honestly don't know how these guys do it. If 10 of them manage to get around this track without having some serious incidents and crashing out of the race, I think it's... Monaco needs a special kind of skill to be able to do this. It's so narrow, the walls are coming in left and right. All it needs is 1 millisecond of you not concentrating, or you're getting a bit too comfortable with yourself, and it could be the end of your race.
That is
I
correct.
never understood how people can do this. For me personally, I hate this track. This is the worst track ever.
Yeah, I would rather take something that is more raceable. As you have pointed out, very important facts about this track. Critic has gone up by just over a 10th in the first sector, and that is currently still not enough to improve to provisional pole again with a roughly 5 minutes.
4 tenths up now.
He's 4 tenths up now, and that is very close to my predicted pole position time. Let's see what else he can do in the last 2 corners. Now has exited Anthony Noakes, comes across the line. Where's Critical gonna go? He's gonna go to pole position, but has lost time in the last sector. It's only up on Nico by just over a tenth. And that is...
I think this is where it's gonna stay. 9.7. It is where it's gonna stay. I don't know if Nico can go any faster.
Too many yellow flags. I hope they fix that for next year's game tomorrow. Moksha's in the slipstream of a Red Bull and moves past Kovetska into P5. He's into the 1 minute 11s, but maybe feels like he's been blocked there. As there is Vincenzo starting another lap, who's currently in P8. Close to Kovetska and Nocebo. Only 4 tenths, that is easily achievable if you push to the maximum. And as I just said, Kovetska has gone up by 4 tenths over Moksha and has improved by some margin now. Z2 still no time. T-Burn is on a lap again. And Kismokiss seems to be doing a cooldown. And we have 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. So if you are out now and your lap time is not worth it, go back into the pits. Select some new fresh tires and go again. T-Brand just moves past David, who is over a second behind a second place and Nico, and that is going to be a huge gap to be looking out for. T-Brand needs to make this run count. Usually there's enough fuel to do a cooldown lap if you have put it to lean on the out lap. To even go again with the 5 kilos of fuel you get. Oh, that was steep on T-Brand, but the lap time stays valid because he was slow enough. He should complete this. No, he's aborting. Okay, he wants to go again, but he needs to complete 1 lap, even if it's shit, because I think his pace might be good enough for
goes
P10.
up to P7.
Yeah, that's a good shot here. Critical is on a lap. Feel free to watch Nico, because this battle for the pole position on the most prestigious track is on here for Sim Racing Heat tonight for the season finale of NSA Pro in season number 4. That was very tightly and very closely taken by Critical into the Nouvelle Chicane. The Alpine gets out of the way. There is currently no improvement for Critical. And he is pushing hard. He lost some time in the final sector. Can he
just
find...
needs to nail this last corner. And the traction zone.
Can he improve his time? He goes to a 1 minute
Nice.
9.511. This is the time Nico needs to beat. And he is starting his lap now. Can the Alpine do it? Can he get the pole position for Monaco tonight? He's into the first turn. Has taken it very nicely. Didn't hit the apex. The exit wall is up the hill now. Needs to make sure every side turn is closely matched, nicely taken. There are no oversteer moments. He is up currently by half a tenth. That is, as we can see, not enough. But he still has 2 sectors to go. Can the Alpine pull it off? He's into Portier number 1. Clean, nicely taken. Portier number 2. No oversteer on the exit. Is into the tunnel. That is just flat taken by these cars in the modern era. He brakes on the curb into the Nouvelle Chicane. He has invalidated his lap time.
No.
Nico will not improve. The pole position tonight, Critical, seem to have this in the spec because David currently has aborted his lap. There are 40 seconds left.
Again.
He can't get around again, so that might be still a chance. What's with Andy? He needs to go again. He is going again. That is his time to cross the line. Oh, some 20 seconds are left. Unfortunately, too many yellow flags to see. But Andy's on his final run. T-Bran has now moved into P6. He has finally set a time. Has beaten Moksha and Vincenzo, who also his closest rivals at the moment. Ziakto has set a time. He is into the 1 minute 12. He's just tiny bit ahead of Nocebo. Sinful in the pits. He is not improving his time. Kismokus has retired.
You need to
Crank
reset the track.
And he's been disqualified. He has parked on the exit of Portier for too long. He will be
got stuck
down
on the curb.
in 14th. And there is no chance of getting that result back as Crankyok is into the pits. The last 5 positions are settled. The only thing that can now be changed is the result for David, who is on his last flying lap. Let's see what he can do. The time is up. Nico's just in the way of him there in the tunnel, it seems. Or maybe that was the AI from Nocebo, I'm not so sure. But David avoided that clinically and is now into the end of the second stage. He's 9/10 down. That is not a good effort from David. He couldn't do it. He is beaten by Andy by half a second there. And is also half a second to the next guy. He's like in no man's land. Nico has no wing. He is out of this contention. And Critical has done it by some margin. Because Nico couldn't get his final run in. What a shot from Critical. And I think, compared to what you said before, he needed to get out there and get it done. And he got it done.
Yeah, he's not going to be scared of anyone really. It's just yeah, I don't know how he does it. He just pulls out an extra 3/4 tenths whenever he needs one.
And that is just continued domination from him. Also, obviously we know Nordic is not here, but we heard from Anthony, from Andy, sorry. We heard from Andy that he hasn't been racing on this track. Getting it together in qualifying is one thing. Keeping it out of the walls inside the race for 39 laps, let alone the first corner, is going to be one hell of a task. Critical Nico, Andy, then it's David, Kovacs, Siakku is into 6, Moksha 7th only, Vincenzo in front of Nocebo. Then you got Sinful, Crank York, Kismokus, Supermax who retired early, and T-Brand who unfortunately was disqualified and is now starting from the back. And there is no rain on the horizon for the race start here. Great prediction. Thank you, Quincy. Thank you. He also says it's just about consistency around here. I actually enjoy this track. Yeah, for me myself, I enjoyed more to drive than to watch, especially yesterday. And it's only really interesting and tense when there's some weather involved or pit stops, which we both didn't have yesterday. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Also, the cars are too large for this track. And Nico states he is still going to be crashing into the walls. Not so sure about that one. And he says he had no practice beforehand. Okay, Ferguson, let's get your predictions for the top 3 tonight. Who's gonna win it? Silence. Okay. I'm gonna shout Critical, David, Andy. That's my call. I hope I didn't lose. No, it doesn't seem like I lost connection. So true, very on a knives to race there for sure, yeah. You didn't practice because the last day of the game. Yeah, yeah, that's understandable.
Hello, sorry, I was AFK.
Okay, then let me get your prediction for the top 3 tonight. I said I think Critic is gonna win in front of David, and then my 3rd place is gonna be Andy.
I'm gonna say Critical, Andy, and Moksha.
We have some people leaving the session.
Yeah. We're gonna have to restart it because
Mm.
thanks to EA, this beautiful game that we all love. Yeah, the lobby's messed up.
Okay, that's gonna be a short break for you guys. So we'll be coming back soon.
I'll be quick.
And we're back. Everything has been set up again after a very lovely issue from the game side. But who's surprised? Certainly not me. Let's go. Let's talk strategy. I think everything other than medium hard is probably gonna
With
be
the amount of safety cars we're gonna have,
yeah.
it's gonna be a soft, medium, soft.
Yeah, maybe.
Especially now that everybody's got their tires back.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody's got all the softs, so it might be a hard.
It's gonna certainly be keeping your tires alive until there's a pit window for you to pit into. I think what's gonna
I think somebody pressed before the time. I hope everybody's there.
Oh yeah,
We start again.
I hate that they changed that. That wasn't the case in like the 2021 or 2022 game, because there was always like this indication when someone pressed from the drivers. Now it's like the loading thing is not showing up anymore. Anyway.
Oh, you mean when you're spectating?
Yeah, when you're spectating.
I think when you come up for waiting for players, it means somebody pushed it. I think.
No, waiting for players is always there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's always there.
I didn't say anything then.
The comment, I've seen it now every Monday. So
in that case, well done everybody.
Yeah, for me personally, I think the front guys should be thinking out medium or hards. The rest can think about other options, because they are gonna open up gaps, certainly, even with a tire disadvantage, and they are the ones who don't want to pit early. Like the pace gap here is a factor that you don't want to deal with in the first early stages, because you're gonna ruin your race. If people don't behave at the start, maybe, and there's an early incident, then you're even in for better shot with the hards. Just go long, maybe even go to the soft at the end. Doesn't really matter. Just you need the tire that gives you the most confidence to pull a gap. And even
I think most people will start on the soft.
Actually, okay.
Just because, like, this is my question for you. How long do you think we can go without a safety car?
Yeah, that's a good question, I think.
So if everybody starts on soft, it could be like the race yesterday.
Yeah.
Have an early safety car, change for the hards, and then just manage the pace. Hopefully not 4 seconds off the pace like they did yesterday.
But I think for their game it's not hards till the end. I don't think they can do it. I think they do 32 laps or something like this. So just short of it. So you need some laps on another tire on top. Or you just go very slow, like 4/10 of. Lap 5 Gizmo safety car from Quincy in the chat.
I think we are ready to go.
Okay.
Judging by this sound.
I actually didn't hear anything. Okay, let's see if the camera is polite enough to change. We go to 5 red lights for the season finale in Sim Racing Heat season number 4 for NSA Pro. The lights out. And away we go. Nico against Critical. Critical has the better start. And Andy is also close to them behind. There is Kovacs running wide. And there's the spin already. At the back, it's Crank York, who has been spun around or has spun himself around. And most of them are actually on the medium, especially the top 4. Nico's putting some pressure early on onto Critical. There's Yaktku, Supermax, and Crank York on the soft tire. And there's Kismukus briefly battling with Sinful, who is on the hards, as is Vincenzo and Nocibo, and also Tibran and Moshka on the mediums. Already a gap between Zek2 and Kovetska, as Nico is still putting pressure on Critical, although he hasn't barely use any ERS, and Supermax gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting the Nouvelle chicane. And the Alpine is right in the rear diffuser. Oh, and he has a... What the fuck was that? That was very odd underbraking from him. There's no visual damage, but he lost some time now. And Andy is almost over a second behind these top two, who have also been putting in some work in the qualifying. As Kismikus is repassed by Sinful. And there is a
Nico's getting really close to critical. I like this. Let's hope he can keep it up.
Yeah.
Oh, as the commentators curse. Just has a little slide there.
And Tibran has just passed Supermax up the road. Kovaska's also in trouble for following David, and Zyatko is putting pressure on him with the newer and better softs. That is a fucking horrible angle to see what's happening. Thank you.
I really like the camera angle at the casino.
Yeah, but these
It shows you really a lot.
zoomed in shots from the cars don't actually do
That's
anything. And another 3-second time penalty for Supermax, who's just cut at the chicane. The Nouvelle chicane twice already, and Nico is just starting to fall out of the 1 second DRS window. Although you have to say, Critica is still on 100% ERS and is managing this like Singapore, as we cast our minds back to a very dominant win to take the driver's crown this season. Didn't touch the ERS button for 28 laps, only did it at the end when Andy was still in a shot to take the win away and delay the title deciding race to Imola, but that didn't happen because basically sandbagged it, and then there was no way to overcome the deficit, and Nico is close again.
He's really close.
3/10. There's a pass.
And he's barely using any ERS himself.
Maybe go to T-Brand to see if he's trying to get by Kismikus. There's something has happened. He lost a second now, but was very close in the tunnel. And still inside the next.
Very surprised we didn't have a safety car already.
That is true.
Fair play to the guys.
This right now means that Alpine would outscore Haas, so they will take P6. And there is a yellow flag, and Krankjörg has retired, and that might be the safety car we were talking about, but no, it hasn't been called. There is no safety car being called after the AlphaTauri has crashed at the exit of the Nouvelle chicane, probably because of oversteer. And Haas' result is currently not enough for them to be still. Oh, Nico has crashed it!
No
Nico
way.
has crashed it! And there's still no safety car.
He's in the middle of the road.
Yeah. I think I have the high suspicion that there's still this thing with the default lower setting for the safety car in Monaco. Even if you have it on like default or low. My wheel is disconnected totally. That was a huge shunt into the right hand side barrier just before the Tabak corner, and now the gap has opened to 3 seconds to the next car when we look at critical, and there's a pit stop for Zyatko. We changed the wing as well. Hate my life, but have a nice stream, guys. Okay, thank you very much. Very sorry for that.
3 of them together, P6, a fight for P6 between 3 cars. Let's see if they can manage to do what Max Verstappen himself actually couldn't achieve yesterday, and make an overtake for a respectable position.
Yeah, we were keeping an eye on that. Nico just also said that he already had wing damage, so 5-second time penalty for Supermax, speeding in the pit lane, who has already been lapped by lap 5. And Kismukas has received a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. He completely ignored the Nouvelle chicane. You could see that by his dot on the minimap. And there's a pit stop for Vincenzo because he is missing the front right end plate. He is missing some of his critical parts for downforce.
What tire is he gonna go for now?
Medium.
that would have completely stuffed his strategy. With an early tire change.
Both hasses needed to pit but are still within. And David has crashed! Has he? Yeah, David has crashed. Kovacs has moved past him, and he has lost his front left end plate as well. As there is a continued fight for P6 even after the house has pitted. So that is gonna be David. That's like 20-second pit window, so it's gonna be coming out behind his teammate T-Bran. And let's see what he is opting to go for. I would assume that might be the hard. He's staying out actually. He is staying out. Despite his damage being on the left hand side, which doesn't
Monaco is probably not the best track to try to go without the wing.
Especially on the left hand side. It's the right hand side circuit.
But he knows it, he feels it.
Yeah, it seems to be. He maybe
if they give him a little bit of more top speed.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe he doesn't feel like being in the gap between the bunch of the three drivers and
yeah. It's horrible. You really just can't overtake.
Yeah.
Unless somebody makes a mistake, but even then, even if they make a mistake, they're probably gonna block half the road. So you really have to be on it.
On eco cars,
T-Bram has a good chance now. After the tunnel, when they're coming down to the chicane, that is probably one of the best overtaking places.
He hasn't used any errors in his 8 tenths behind. That would be quite an optimistic lunch. Now has lost another 2 tenths, 3 now. I think mainly in terms of league racing, if you're on eco cars and there's a performance gap in the field, then usually you just need roughly around 2 seconds. If it's more, then you kind of need the tire advantage as well. If if esports drivers are highly regarded drivers that are close.
They would have put each other in the wall already. Esports drivers are ruthless. They're crazy. They follow each other perfectly for 95% of the race, and then in the last 5%, they just, I don't know, they turn into animals. They keep pushing each other, shoving off the road into the wall, and everybody screams at each other. I love it.
Yeah, I was just trying to make the point that they would, if they would be racing right now, they will also need a big advantage from the tire, not only their race pace.
Yeah, huge. It is nearly impossible to overtake at Monaco.
David is still keeping Kovacs honest. That is surprising to me.
Yeah, and he hasn't pitted. I think he's gonna go. What do you reckon? 15 laps on the mediums?
Yeah, if I was him, I would try to follow as much as I can, or for as long as I can. And as soon as there's a gap, I would pit for the hards. And that would be, I think, not to lose more time, because over the time.
Oh, there was a little bump from Sinful.
Sinful in the. Oh, they're side by side now. T-Bran up the hill. Horrible camera shot, and he has moved past Sinful after that.
Well done.
Slight touch.
This is a little mistake. This is all he needs. Just a tiny little mistake.
Oh, now thinking about the outside. Is he going for the hairpin lunge? No. He keeps the Alpine honest though. And
there is a yellow. A yellow flag.
Slowing down Supermax for the
Oh.
3-second time penalty for Moksha now, who's in the lonely race.
Back to the fight. Is T-Ben going to send it in to the chicane?
Supermax has retired. On track.
Is that going to be enough to bring out the safety car?
I don't think so. Do you know what
No,
you
it
have
isn't.
set it to? Is it standard safety car?
Reduced.
Yeah, then that might be the problem, because if I think there were talks about the safety car settings for the 2021 game, and some people found out that the default chance of a safety car for Monaco is like reduced by like half over the usual amount. So you usually would need standard at least to cause like a reduced, like a normal reduced safety car.
Yeah. So we might need 2 people retiring in the same time.
Yeah, and that would
To actually have a
be
safety car.
yeah. So 3 cars have retired. That's both the AlphaTauris and the Alpine of Nico, all only bringing out the yellow flag as we continue to watch the battle for P6 with no Sibo leading Tibran and Sinful.
He's managing to stay really close to the Ferrari driver. And now he pits.
And no, Sibo has crashed the same incident! He has done the same thing!
The
virtual safety car. There's a virtual safety car now because Sinful also went into the car that was on the track. And David essentially got a free pit stop now. No, Sibo has just had the same incident as his teammate. I don't know if his wheel disconnected as well, but he has hit this slight opening in the what's it called? The tire barriers? No. The arm code. This little gap for the marshals in the arm code. He has hit. Let's see if we can see, but with Andy is close to this point. So after exiting Nouvelle Chicane on the right hand side, after this sign here, there's like this little opening, and if you drive too close to that, there's a collision for your car.
Kinda like, do you remember the wall in Baku? Just before you turn onto the final straight. If you went close to the wall but you didn't touch it, sometimes you just bugged in.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so Andy has now pitted because the virtual safety car is still up. So Kovacs is at the risk of being overtaken by David. The virtual safety car is now ended. So there's a Ferrari 1-2 right now. And Andy will come out in third probably. Moksha is close.
Or is he gonna come out behind Kovacs?
Oh, he moves past. Moksha has also moved past Andy. Andy's on the hards now. David actually opted for another set of mediums. And because of the
that might open up a chance for Kovacs. If Andy can't get past Moksha for a couple of laps, Kovacs has a safe window. I mean, he still has a safe window to pit now.
Yeah, because there's a gap,
to try to
10 seconds. So if Kovacs would to be pitting now, he would become probably just in front of Tibran. 20 seconds roughly for Kovacs. Yeah, that should be like in between the both Alfa Romeos. David has the chance to get back into the rhythm, but he has to pit again. But there's like the chance of just opening the gap up to the guys behind and just have this pit window open and go for a fastest lap if there's no late safety car where everyone is bolting on the soft tires. Andy is in a shout to finish this race on the hards, but they were gonna be slightly dead at the end. Like after 60%, they drop massively.
Go for the move. He's trying it.
Oh, he's on the inside. Oh, and he touched the wall, but the car is still intact. And just before the casino square.
So close. That's some big ball moves.
Yeah, also credit to Moksha for playing along with the Mercedes driver. And now that's a 6-second gap to P2, which is regarding the tire life of both drivers' tires. Still very
Well, how
doable.
long is the pit stop? It's about 20 seconds.
Yeah, 20 seconds. It's like 18
So if Andy
from
now gets
18 from entry to the exit, but because the line is still continuing after the first turn, it's like 2 extra seconds. I was happy to be wrong. Yeah, I think so as well, Quincy. Although,
Andy
yeah,
manages to close up the gap to Kovacka,
by some margin.
that means if Critical goes for a pit, he's going to come out behind him. And then all he needs to do is just park the bus for another 20 laps. Probably easier said than done.
There is a chance for medium soft in this race, but I doubt that
The yellow flag.
that's Kismagus, because Sinful is not in a part of the track. Siatko is again.
Sinful's getting overtaken.
Yeah, he's just. But
I missed it. Oh.
I have it on cam, but it didn't look like Sinful was actually fighting that. There was barely any defense.
Damage?
Doesn't, at least from the outside visual model, doesn't look like it. Let me check again. I don't know why the car.
It's all there. It's all there.
Kismakus has retired. Tabak corner. Moksha has moved past.
Same corner, is it? Oh no, it's not.
Yeah, but it's like the same entry. Like 3 cars are retired in this section. No safety car. And David has caught up to Moksha, and Andy has 2 Kovacs cars, so there are gonna be 2 battles on track.
The pit window is behind. Wow.
And Critical has understood the assignment and pulled the pit stop window he needed to his teammate. So Andy is
trying to go for a move on Sinful.
Let's check that one out.
Danger Dave is getting seriously close to Moksha as well. It's all happening now.
No. But David, unfortunately, with the medium strategy, is probably only going to be in a fight for P4. Because Kovatska is very likely to pit to a gap where David needs to get past Moksha maybe again.
David, don't do that.
Is he going for
scary,
it?
Huh? He just shot himself into the mirrors of the Williams.
No, I was talking about Vincenzo, who's close to Sinful. Oh, good. And David is going for it.
David's going for it.
And he's completed the move. Let's go to Andy, who's close to Kovatska. Is he gonna move into Mirabeau? No. But it's so close between these two. Sinful has passed Siatku because he has been in the pits again. For the 3rd time already, I think. No, actually, 2nd time.
Kovac could play the team game here and just try to hold.
Oh, and he goes for it! And he's done it! Into the reverse chicane! Keeps it on track! Doesn't overtake him!
He really wants this. He wants to get in front of Critical no matter what. And I think if he does this lap to the absolute perfection, he might just get in front of Critical after he pits.
Critical needs to understand that he shouldn't go for the alternative strategy, just pit. If he pits now, he's gonna stand front. He has the better tires, more resources. Obviously the tires are gonna be cold, but there's like a 2-second margin. And Andy doesn't have the resources. He's on 40% ERS, 80 for Critical. He just needs, like, the tires are gonna start to fall off more.
Now.
Oh, there's a collision! There's a collision between Vincenzo and Sinful at the entry to Raska's corner. And Sinful has to pit now. And he's probably gonna not like this.
I think Critical's gonna go for a pit here.
I think he should, because his gap is closing.
He's been pushing. Yeah.
He's in.
There it is. Now let's see where he comes out. Is he gonna be in front or behind Andy? I would really like to see that. Oh, that was a really quick one.
I think in front.
Yeah.
22 seconds.
I would have loved to see the battle between them.
It's gonna be tight, but I think it's in front. Kritikin has the control over his car now, needs to make the first turn on cold tires. He has done that now. Oh. There's been a Discord message from me, sorry. Needed to put myself onto do not disturb, and Andy is behind Critical with 2.0 seconds. And Critical has more. T-Ban is into the pits. That's probably going to be the soft tires! Or I was going to say the hards, but T-Ban feels yeah, I can understand that, because there's like a lot of clean air. And he can easily pass the guys who are on old tires. Which is only Vincenzo in front, and Moksha needs to pit for hards anyway. And if T-Ban feels like the pace of the softs, he can do that. But unfortunately that means that the race is just stalled.
Yes.
And we are back to sleeping mode.
Right. If you
Kovacs
follow
pit stop.
T-Ban... Oh.
Kovacs pit stop. Hards now. He's gonna be...
There is nobody there to... He's gonna be in front of Vincenzo.
Yeah, but David and Moksha have moved past, and Moksha should be responding within this lap, because after warm-up, Kovacs is gonna be on his tail, and Moksha is also a 3-second time penalty. So he needs
Vincenzo's gonna have to pit.
He needs to invest with his ERS that is currently sitting at roughly 90% of charge. And I think Williams need to tell him that this in-lap is critical, apart from Mercedes, who forgot to do that and just told Lewis Hamilton normal outlap to be...
Just take it easy.
Take it on the chin, son.
Oh, I can't wait to see what he's gonna do with Ferrari next year. I'm not so sure if... I'm not a big fan of Hamilton. I mean, fair play. He is one of the best drivers. I just somehow I don't resonate with him. But
I get that.
Even I have to say that him moving to Ferrari.
Moksha is responding to the pit stop Ferrari just made.
Vincenzo makes a mistake into the
there's
chicane.
been a collision with T-Ban. T-Ban tried to overtake Vincenzo.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because T-Ban is letting him pass. T-Ban is letting him pass. And he's now blocked.
His teammates wanted to have a little go. In the same time, Jacto is trying to make T-Ban give up the position for him as well.
Yeah. And luckily for Vincenzo,
Vincenzo's just holding them up, basically, at the moment.
Yeah.
They are all brand new tires.
Around the outside for T-Ban after making a mistake, causing both to crash. Yeah, that makes sense.
21.
That makes sense because his guys are dying. And now T-Ban has 11 seconds to Moksha, and after that maybe 9 laps only before he needs to go for another soft.
He's gonna have to make another pit stop.
Yeah, as well. And he will be passed by Kovacs. Actually, the gap to from Kovacs to Moksha is even bigger than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was gonna be 15 seconds. Yeah, so it's really T-Brand against Moksha's time penalty, and T-Brand needs to be putting in some qualifying laps. No. As Vincenzo has received a 3-second time penalty for strawberries that was cutting the inside of the swimming pool chicane. Let's look at the position changes. 8 up for T-Brand, who is currently our winner, probably driver of the day, and there is been
Hector gets another 3-second penalty.
and a pit stop for his teammate. And yeah, apart from Kittrike, everyone has moved. Sinful up 2, Sartu and Vincenzo, both of the Hases. 1 down as Vincenzo is now released onto the track again, but into the path of Andy, who is currently our P2. And everyone is on a 1-stop, but Haas of the remaining drivers who are still in this race, 2 for them.
When is Danger David gonna come out after he pits? I wonder. Is he gonna be able to build an even bigger gap between himself and Kovachka? To maybe try to get out in front of him so he doesn't need to overtake him on the track? Can he do it with 11 lap old medium tires? I just don't know. I have no recollection of any how long any of these tires go, because I honestly don't race this track ever. Do you know if maybe the fuel loads can be a bit tricky? Maybe some of them went a bit low and thinking that there will be a safety car.
In the past games, you actually Andy pits again. That's surprising. He doesn't have the gap. He's being passed by David and Kowalska soon. Oh, he needs to change the front wing.
Oh.
Andy has now put himself into the fight for P2 against David. Because if David stays out another 2 laps, maybe even 3, he might be onto the soft tires and is going to chase down the Mercedes. And to answer your question on fuel, usually you needed to put more because the high downforce setups meant that you would accelerate fast and had a lot of grip out of the corners. And Andy is back.
Yeah, that's right, because most of the other high downforce tracks on this calendar used quite a lot of fuel.
Yes, does Monaco.
So we might have to. Some of them might have to save some fuel. If they don't keep an eye on it,
that's true.
We might see someone run out of fuel.
Yeah, and you were talking about the tires as well. I think there was like a 25 or 24. Oh, and then he has hit the wall. Andy is out of the rhythm and has hit the wall at the entry of the Nouvelle Chicane on the left-hand side. And that has opened the gap to David even more. And David is going to be switching to the soft soon.
There's no big visible damage on the front wing of Andy.
No, I think it was
But it
tire
would
to
definitely
wall
hurt
contact.
his confidence.
Yeah, 100%.
And this is the other thing. You just said it, the rhythm.
And a 3-second time penalty on top!
This is it, yeah.
Keep going, fellas, in. You might curse him into an DNF.
He's just out of the rhythm. And this is what it does. Once you make one tiny little mistake, it's very hard to get back into the right headspace and just keep putting in. Because you have to do perfect laps all the time. All the time. You can't go wide, you can't go deep, because you're just gonna hit a wall, and it punishes you a lot.
Yeah.
As you can see, Andy Andre's race kind of fallen apart in just a couple of laps.
Yeah.
All started with just
David pits, and that has opened also another pit stop window for Critical now. Hart! Why is David! Please tell me that it's a misclick.
Oh no, I don't know, 14 laps on the soft.
That is doable, because I was talking about that the soft the medium soft strategy that Critical could have done after the early incident, especially after Nico crashed and the gap opening up, that the medium tires are predicted to go 25 laps even. Obviously, they're going to be ass at the end. And the rest can be covered by the softs. Obviously, not going to be at the best state at the end, but still faster than the hards. And that pit window has just opened. So if you want to race with another pit stop until the end now, soft tire is your choice and not the hard tires. So I'm very surprised by that move, because he is obviously going to be in an advantage in terms of the pace over Kovacs because his tire is fresher, but there is barely an advantage against Andy, and there's still enough time for Andy to repass David and get 3 seconds ahead of him to claim or reclaim third place. Maybe even second, because Kovacs is going to be looking in his mirror soon, because these two are going to hunt him down for good. And Critically is going to pit soon as Andy sets another fastest lap of the race. Maybe Critical goes like, okay, 10 laps to the end, that's totally fine. As Vincenzo and Sinfo has swapped, because Sinfo had a moment, it seems. So that's probably the fastest lap for Critic as well. So Grand Slam, even.
That's the way it is. It is going to be the first 1-2 for Ferrari in this season, but I think in the history of the league as well.
There's never been a 1-2 for
and
a
I
team?
think it hasn't even been 1-2 for any other team this season. There's always been 2 different teams in first and second. So
okay, no,
Ferrari
only this
do
season.
something special.
Only this season, no 1-2 for any team.
No.
But overall, there have been teams who scored 1-2.
I have a look, but I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would still require a lot from Kovacs to get this done, as he has passed Sinfo, who just rejoined the track of a new set of medium tires, as this duo of Danger David and Andy Andre just closing in on the Ferrari ahead. Andy has the disadvantage of a 3-second time penalty, but in terms of pace and tire life, both of the chasers are in an advantage to take their beloved spot on the podium. And regarding where they finish, they might make my prediction come true, because Andy's chance of getting second are slightly hampered by that 3-second time penalty we saw him getting.
Wow. Okay. So there hasn't been a 1-2 for any team in the history of my league, which is 4 seasons.
No.
It's quite a lot of races.
Yeah. And to be honest, I think that's gonna be a stat for next season as well. Because even if overtaking is tricky here, there are a lot of laps left for David to complete an overtake. Kovac's tires are not old by any means, but I think
It
he
needs
is
to be
feeling
as
the
wide
pressure.
as possible.
Oh yeah.
If he wants to keep that position, he could help Critical, or him and Critical together could make history today. 10 more laps. That's all he needs.
That's all he needs. You say it like it's nothing, but I'm sure Kovacs wouldn't agree with you
it's the
and
most
swear
important
at you
10
at
laps.
some Hungarian words. David is already
He's not gonna do it,
close.
is he? He's not gonna do it.
There's been another mistake for Andy. Andy has had another mistake. His front right end plate is chopped off. And Moksha is now close to overtaking him.
Yeah, this way he's gonna be behind Moksha, for the next part.
Yeah. Oh.
That he's got those soft tires. So that's going to be a 5th place if he manages to keep it on the road. And possibly a fastest lap.
I think T-Burn should pit as well
Friendly.
soon. Don't.
Not like any of this matters, really,
Well, maybe T-Burn thinks he.
for the drivers.
T-Burn also
Championship.
passed Andy, no?
Yep.
David is using his battery. He is close to the rear wing of the Ferrari. He is going into the Neve chicane. Has cut the chicane and didn't complete the overtake. On track, but isn't seeming to give the position back. Unfortunately, the camera work was awful, so didn't see really if there was enough space given by.
I just seen some red and a couple of wheels.
Oh, he went deep. He's letting it pass.
He's giving it back.
He's giving it back. He feels like this was an unfair advantage after crossing the inside line, and he has received another 3-second time penalty. He is gonna be not happy about this for sure, but at this stage he's feeling just get it home, like Leclerc did at the end of yesterday's race. David is close to the Ferrari, moves across his rear wing, left, right, and center. What is the ERS charge for both? 24 on the Ferrari, 38, over 10% more for the Alfa Romeo.
This is an overtaking opportunity, so if anything, if anywhere we're going to see something happen here.
He's going to retry it. He's going to try it again.
He's
no!
Too far.
He thinks
but
better.
But it still could force Kovačka into a mistake. It's very easy to clip that inside wall as you turn into the chicane. But the outside wall.
Every wall is a danger.
Yeah. I did a couple of laps of practice.
Oh, oversteer moment for Kovačka. There might be number 2.
Now with the DRS and the ERS.
Here's David going for it. Less than 3/10. There's a good line being followed by Kovačka to keep the car in the middle of the road while hitting the braking zone for turn 1, and there is a showdown for the last laps. David is showing himself on the inside. He manages to take
up the whole road with that Ferrari. He's just not giving him any chance to get past.
I think David maybe needs to recharge his battery. They're both on equal battery charge. Oh, he's pressing again.
He wants it now. He's gonna have it now.
Less than half a tenth. He's pulling to the inside. He's trying to complete it on the track. Now they've touched again. There's been a tap of the rear left tire of the Alfa Romeo to the inside wall. We have seen Andy spun early in the race. And now I think David maybe needs to think about recharging the batteries and maybe go for a final attempt later in this race. There are still 7 laps to go, and he oversteer moment after hitting the curb. He doesn't need to force it. He doesn't need to force it. His tires are half the lifespan. Vincenzo has crashed out. There's a safety car! There's finally a safety car!
Unbelievable!
We get a sprint race after Critical has been leading 48 seconds ahead of the pack, and Kovačka has some laps fewer remaining to keep the Ferrari dream of a 1-2 finish for the first time in this league's history, to keep this dream alive. And David has just got his the work cut short by some laps now, because the field is spread hugely, and Bernd Mailand is probably going to be bored at the wheel. And he has crashed! And he has crashed under the safety car! And he has crashed under the safety car! There's a prime opportunity for T-Burn, who has no penalties, to go past Moksha now. If there's some racing laps remaining, everyone is starting into the pit stands. New fresh soft tires, as you have mentioned in The build-up after the restart of the lobby. Fresh tires for everyone. You get a fresh set. You get a fresh set. You get a fresh set. Now Kovetska needs to pit. He does. There's David into the pit lane. There's a drive-through penalty under speeding for the safety car. For the 5-second time penalty for David after he hit the wall. After he hit the back of Kovetska. There's a drive-through penalty for the second Ferrari, so that dream is now out of the window, and David is back into second place. So there might be a rear tap that made him go faster than he wanted, and at the wrong time, the Ferrari driver received the drive-through penalty for going too fast under the safety car, and David has received 5 seconds time penalty. And if this thing goes again,
messed it up for Ferrari.
And if this goes again, that means he's gonna have to put in some work because Kovetska currently is still in front of him. And regarding where the safety car is let go by the FIA stewards again, that means he has to get 5 seconds between the next car to make sure he stays on the podium. Although other people behind him have penalties, and you can see the gap
stuck behind the safety car.
So the physical order currently is Critical is trying to let T-Brand by, but you need to move off the track. If Critical wants to, or
T-Brand has to take the 5-second penalty for overtaking under the safety car.
To be honest, he doesn't need to put in the effort because there's so little laps left and they can't rejoin the queue because it's so far ahead. Like the safety car is gonna pull in after 4 laps. Because the gaps are too big. And David is serving his 5-second penalty now. Because the gap is so huge. He's serving it right now.
That's a very good tactical decision.
But he needs to probably take another car. Because Moksha is now into third. 100%. But he has no penalty, so Moksha has... Oh my word. This race just went up into the air with a bang.
Yeah, with a 500 IQ strategy to get rid of his 5-second penalty. So you know what? I am God in this league. You get a 5-second penalty for that.
There's a group of 4 people who are on the race leader's lap right now, and there are all at the back. That's Kovetska, who is technically currently 5th on the road.
Disaster.
6th currently for Moksha, and the last car in the pack is David.
We have lost 50% of the drivers.
Yeah, and it's not even over yet.
No. And safety cars breed safety cars. And especially like this. There is going to be... How many people? 3 people? Has to get out of the way?
Yeah, 3 have to go out of the way. That's T-Brand, Ziatu, and Sinful. They are in the same order.
Oh, Sinful has been lapped twice, so he's in the middle. Aha.
It's even worse.
So, Sinful's gonna get the blue flag to let T-Brand go. Ziatu go. And everybody's just gonna get blue flagged.
Yeah. Also, Moksha probably wanted another car in between him and David now because he has a 3-second time penalty. David is right behind him. Critic is trying again to let these guys pass, but it's not working, I would assume. Yeah, you need to get off the track, which is only possible in some parts of this track because of track limits.
Like the chicane now, probably.
Yeah, but I don't know if he knows.
I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, at this stage, the safety car is gonna come in now. The pack is bunched up. There will be the message that the safety car is in this lap, and now everyone needs to make sure that they let the right drivers pass because T-Brand gets blue flags from Kovetska Moksha and David, but himself, he doesn't really want to let Siak go by because he's also directly in front of the Haas. And Sinful just needs to get, go invisible. We are watching the restart.
Critical's off.
Critical has pulled the trigger, but the next cars behind him are not racing him, and he's just gonna get a move on. Sinful has moved out of the way.
Well done.
Oh, everyone's just ghosting. Okay, that's even better than...
Yeah.
So we watch this. It is currently already decided, but let's see if David can move past Moksha on the track. He's showing himself on the right-hand side into turn number 5 of Mirabeau. And
3 laps not to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Danger David, I'm gonna check if he's got any
warnings. Yeah,
warnings.
Go and do that. T-Brand has just secured P5 because Setu is also on a 3-second time penalty. There's a move from David possibly into the... yes. They have touched. He is opening up. And Moksha just moved across this chicane to get another 3-second time penalty. But he will claim that David didn't leave him enough space for the first initial turn-in. But regardless of that, the other 3-second time penalty is going to be still in play for the Williams driver, who is probably not going to score another podium. That would be a...
So Danger David has only 1 warning.
And that's 3 laps to go. He's taken...
He had the 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Kovacka. I thought he had the penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So...
Oh! He tried it!
No!
But it didn't work! Now the gap is up to 3.6 seconds! And now the pressure's on!
I'm just not gonna say anything anymore of anyone.
Yeah, but even if that wasn't for speeding...
Poor Andy Andre got a DNF because I was talking about him.
I don't think it would have changed anything if that was for speeding. It was the right call. It was the right call to pit and serve it before the safety car ended. And now he has to find 9 tenths.
Yeah, but I mean the FIA might have to look at some of the incidents.
Yeah, DS is enabled. Kovacs pits for his draft penalty now. And he's still gonna be in 4th because everyone else has been lapped. So that's still a good effort. Jesus fucking Christ. This is so cursed. My prediction was so on point. But then Andy crashed and now Moksha is in a prime position to get himself on the podium for your prediction. Although the gap is closing again. But the advantage for the Williams is that he has a driver in front that might give him DRS on the final time. These drivers get DRS anyway because it will be onto the lap of 39.
What Danger David has to do is just bring it home without penalties.
And be within the 3 seconds.
6. It's 6 seconds.
Yeah, but I think Moksha will claim that David didn't leave him enough space, so that might get removed. We didn't really see, we need onboards for that, unfortunately. But David has moved into the 2.5 seconds, so that's safe now. If he doesn't fuck it up. You can keep an eye on that. We will watch another Ferrari. Yeah, well.
Oh.
Still 3 seconds.
I think T-Bran has lost his front wing.
We watch another Ferrari complete the final lap of a Monaco Grand Prix in 2 weeks, 2 days in a row. Critical, who has claimed the World Drivers' Championship on a street track that was Singapore some rounds ago, is going to Grand Slam this as well after taking pole position by some margin leading every lap of this race, having achieved the fastest lap tonight as well. He will come across the final corner. Anthony Noakes moves slowly
Yes!
onto the race, onto the start finish line, and will
Well done.
complete season 4 for NSA Pro for the Sim Racing Heat season in F1 2023. Congratulations to Critical for this amazing season. David, in his outing as a reserve, comes across the line to finish on the podium in second, and there's a third place finish for Moksha. Again, his 5th podium of the season in only 9 races. And T-Brain has been nominated the driver of today. He will finish in P5 because Kovetska, even with his drive-through penalty, has finished in 4th. And there is Siaktu in 6th, and 7th is Sinful. And that is the conclusion of the F1 2023 game for Sim Racing Heat. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a pleasure to cast with you again, Ferguson, and I hope to see you guys soon. If you want to check the drivers' interviews out, stay with this broadcast for some more minutes. But if you want to join us for next game that will be released tomorrow for the Champions Edition owners and on Friday for everyone, feel free to follow this channel and to see more broadcasts when the new season comes up. And we will be going for a short break and then see what the drivers have to say about this race. Speak to you soon. Okay, we are back for some drivers' interviews, and we will be starting with Critical Damage, who has taken another Grand Slam on a street track. It has been a phenomenal performance from you, and I would like to congratulate on this final closeout for this season. What do you think about this race tonight?
Thank you. Well, it was actually quite tough. I think it's boring to watch, but for the drivers, it's quite a challenge. I didn't expect it to be so tough physically. I'm drained, but yeah, it was very nice. I'm very happy with the win. I really wanted to win, especially as yesterday Leclerc finally did it. But it was quite tough in the qualifying session. Nico was yeah just a few tenths away, and I think he messed up his last lap, so it would have been really close. But yeah, really happy.
Yeah, that was indeed his final lap that he had invalidated. Let's take a short recap for this season because, to be honest, this race, apart from the last safety car, and there wasn't even pressure at the restart for you because the lap cars were between you. That was a straight up good day in the office for you. And as I said, you got the Grand Slam with the fastest lap as well. Let's look at the season. You won the Drivers' Championship. You re-won the Constructors' Championship. You have won 11 out of 17 races and have stood 14 times on the podiums with that, equaling Nordic's 8 pole positions tonight. Is this the season you were expecting at the start? Or is this something that you couldn't even dream of when going into the first race of the season?
No, not at all. I think after the last season, it was quite clear that Ninja is a step ahead. But starting with Monza, I just wanted to do clean races and make sure that I get the maximum number of points I can each race. And yeah, it started fantastically with Monza, and then I think it was Spain. And yeah, I got lucky because Ninja DNF'd. So I think from that moment onwards, he was really under pressure because he made quite a lot of mistakes in the first half of the season. So I'm really happy with the season overall. Really consistent. Apart from China and Bahrain, I didn't really do any mistakes. Just yeah, kept it clean. Made sure that I put as much pressure as I can on Ninja, and yeah, that was it. I'm really proud, and actually I'm very happy because in a few qualifying sessions and in a few races I was faster on track than him, and that's I think a great accomplishment considering how fast he is.
Yeah, let's look ahead. The new game is coming out tomorrow. If Nordic Ninja was to compete again next season and you would try to go into the new season trying to defend your title, what will be your expectations if things would be more to the things you were talking about regarding his pace compared to you? Is that more of a runaway for him on the usual daily basis? Because I didn't cast everything of this league so far up until the first time. So what is like your expectations for the new seasons if things would, like you described, go back to normal?
Well, hopefully he hates the new game and he's extremely slow, 3 seconds away. So that will be lovely. But yeah, in a normal situation, I think he's still the big favorite. I think he had the race this season, Hungary, in which was on a different planet. But also, I think Abu Dhabi 5 races ago, 4 races ago, he really practiced because he had another league on that track, and he really went for it. And in the end, both me and Andy finished in front of him on track without any incidents or yeah, safety cars to help us. So it's all to play for, and yeah, hopefully 24 suits me and not him.
Yeah, maybe he will soon realize that his real talent is in lawn mowing simulator, but who knows? Thank you very much for your insights in these driver interviews. Congratulations again for this fantastic season. Enjoy the champagne for both titles. Celebrate with your teammate who was close to making it the first timer in this league, almost getting that elusive first 1-2 of this league. Congratulations also to Kowalska if you hear this. Well done to you as well. That has been some team effort, and you have obliterated the competition in terms of the Constructors' Championship. So well done to you as well, Kowalska. And I hope to see you both. Obviously, Kowalska is not here, but I hope to see you both next time as well, and maybe try to defend that title for Ferrari. Have a good night, and speak to you soon.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye. Let's move to third placed Williams driver Moksha. Moksha, congratulations! You did it again.
Yeah, thanks. I was really surprised that I was on the podium, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was. I just drove.
You have to maybe call Fellison into more predictions because he actually wanted you to finish in third and you did it. So yeah, maybe you just PayPal him €10 later.
Let's send your email address in a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Exchange.
He wrote me already.
exchange some emails. I think to recap the race, I think it was very quiet, especially when there was like this first couple of pit stops after the virtual safety car, because some didn't, others went for an extra stop. Also, David went for another medium. How were you settling into the race? Because Nico had already retired, some people at the back with no safety car had retired, and you were still like on this like early or maybe middle of the medium stint. Were you planning to go for the hards later, or do you even wanted to extend for the soft? How was your run plan for the rest of the race, like after the virtual safety car?
Yeah, actually, I was hoping for an early safety car. It didn't happen. So yeah, I kept the strategy and yeah, just drove to the end. I had a really hard time to control my car. My setup was not ideal, but yeah, it was really hard to keep just on the track. And as I told, really surprised that I suddenly on the podium.
Yeah, that was very interesting mix up with the late safety car, and yeah, David receiving a 5-second time penalty for collision with Kovatska, who also had received a drive-through penalty for speeding. I think you have achieved 5 out of 8 or 9 races podiums now. What were your expectations going into this league? Obviously, I didn't know anything from you previously, so just give me some insights of your like expectations for this season. And I would assume, based on how many times you have told me that you didn't expect to finish on the podium, that this season must have been more than you expected.
Yeah, it was definitely more. I had always pretty much luck to get on the podium. I remember sometimes where Nordic Ninja put an early soft stop in Canada and so on. So it was always with penalty or with a misjudgment from another driver, and then I was on the podium. And yeah, it feels good. I think it's the maximum I could get, but yeah, it's what it was actually not on my pace. It's just I drove it to the end and yeah, try to avoid mistakes then.
What are your personal targets for next season then? Do you look at like continue to be like in this best of the rest scenario where you just capitalize off the front guys' mistakes, or do you actually want to make the next step and close the gaps down in qualifying, go better at them at the races? Because you have been putting in some consistency that is worth mentioning, because consistency is, as they say, always key. And if you wouldn't have been in these situations when you stood on the podium, obviously mistakes that you have maybe made in these races wouldn't have achieved you this result. So what are your expectations going into the next season in terms of like your own personal improvements?
Actually, I just want to drive and have fun. I like to battle with Kovatska. I like to battle with Fellison and the front guys. We didn't battle much, but sometimes they took me. Uh, but overall, it was a pretty fun season, and I hope for the next season the same.
Okay, we will find that out when it starts on the 17th of June. Thank you again for your insights, Moksha, and have a good night, and see you next year's next game, I would say.
Yeah, all right. Bye bye.
Bye bye. So, Fellison, the season has been concluded. It will be putting on some dust in the future, and the new game is upon us. As the shared owner of this league, give me a resume of what you think has this season summed up for the drivers, for the league in general. Because I've joined midway through, and I kind of want to see what your overall feeling is now, because we've talked in private about some stuff. But what is like the overall summary of this season for you?
I'm sad that it's finished, to be fair.
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah. It feels really good that so many people can find their time, and they can spare their time every Monday evening to come and have some fun together. So personally, for me, it's a really good feeling that I managed to make a space where people can feel like that and race like that. For the league, I think it has been, although the number of drivers don't show this, but it has been one of our best seasons. Everyone is getting very competitive. I like it when we get new guys in and they can hit the ground running. But yeah, hopefully the next game will give us a chance to continue to race against each other like this, and hopefully it's not going to dishearten too many more people. But yeah, I just want to thank everyone for continuing to turn up for the races, and even when it's a bit boring, they still manage to race and enjoy themselves. So I'm happy for you guys. I'm happy for myself. I'm happy for the league. I'm just sad that it's finished. But at least you're gonna have a couple of weeks off where I don't need to worry about making lobbies and inviting people and restarting lobbies and stuff like that. So
Putting in
yeah.
results, check-ins.
Yeah.
Okay. One more thing. Obviously, your season has been cut short after that injury you received. Just give me a quick silver lining here about your season. Do you think there could have been more in for you? Because I
No.
think you finished 4th.
No.
And
No,
there was some good racing, especially in China with Kovatska. Obviously, we had that like a full Netflix episode of that. But
I'm never gonna forget that. It was 90% of the race we were like next to each other.
yeah.
I had some good racing. I knew that I'm never gonna achieve more than P4. Ninja and Critical is just way out of my reach. Andy has really got himself together during the winter, because he's got more time to practice, and he really showed that. So yeah, I thought P4 would be the best for me, and that's where I managed to land myself.
Okay. Then I would like to take the final words to say thank you very much for this opportunity. I really enjoyed this time.
Thank you very much for
yeah,
for doing all of
no
this.
problem. I look
great.
forward to see these guys in action for a whole season, and I would like to continue this work with you. So if your ankle is hurting a bit more than you would like, feel free to join me in a comedy booth again. Other than that, I hope the people out there enjoyed it as well. I hope numbers get up so everyone can have more interesting races. Sometimes the problem is more incidents, especially on street tracks, make the gaps huge and people are out of place. But
only full grids next season.
I hope that's sincerely for you.
I think we all do.
Yeah, I think we all do. So if you want to see this league coming back to your guys' screen, you need to be putting yourself calendar up right now, and roughly the 17th of June, this league will really start for season 5 with a new calendar, with a new game that will be released for the championship edition owners tomorrow and for the standard edition on Friday. If you want to see this, feel free to give this a follow. Search Sim Racing Heat on YouTube to see the previous races that have been covered, mostly by me for this season. But for previous races, you can see them all there, and the future races also will be, including this one, will be uploaded there as well. Thank you again to all the drivers who raced. There was some incredible racing, and I think everyone has enjoyed their stay, and I hope we will enjoy our stays next time when the engines start to roar again on the 17th of June. Thank you everyone for watching, and have a good night. See you soon, and goodbye. Tada!